Welcome to this episode of the GymInformer podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode, and today our guest is David Troche. He is the owner of Legendary Fitness up in New Jersey. I got a chance to work out there just a few weeks ago, and it was a really cool, old school, badass bodybuilding gym. So I'm excited to talk to him about it. But before we get started, let's take a pause, and I'm going to show you the photos I took when I was at the gym. All right, David, before we get started talking about the gym, can you give us a little bit of background about how you became a gym owner? Like, what was your journey to becoming a gym owner?
Well, first, it all started when I was in the military. I did 20 years in the military. Probably like my last 10 years, I really got into fitness pretty hardcore. I've been through, like, I guess you want to call it, every genre of fitness, whether it was like CrossFit, bodybuilding, powerlifting. Then I got into like personal training.
Mm-hmm.
Really enjoyed helping people, man. And then once that kind of took off, I knew that this is kind of like the path that I wanted to go down when I retired.
Nice. Well, thank you for your service, first off. Big supporter of the veterans. So that's awesome. And how long have you had the gym?
This October we will be open 2 years.
Oh, wow. So it's pretty new.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. You've done a really good job so far. It's an interesting gym in that you've got some newer style equipment. You've got some older style equipment. It's not a huge gym, but you've done a good job of equipping it. So you had quite a bit of Arsenal equipment. Then you also had some old school Nautilus, some Cybex, some older stuff in there. Like, how did you decide, like, okay, this is what I'm going to put in my gym? And like, from an old school standpoint and from new school standpoint, like, what was the decision? Like, okay, if I'm going new school, I'm going Arsenal, but I still want to put these old pieces in there.
Right. So my initial purchase was all Arsenal and then the Rogue as well.
Right.
Small business just starting up. So I had to make sure that I was kind of smart on the pieces that I bought, pieces that were going to be utilized and not just sit around and collect dust.
Right.
And then once I got that going, obviously we opened the doors, memberships start to go through, start to grow. I went out and got some of those pieces that you saw, the leg extension, the hamstring curl. We already had one. It was a plate loaded combo, but after filling out the members, they wanted something a little bit different than that. So I'm one to be, what is it that you're looking for? What is it that you want to see inside of the gym?
Right.
And they made some suggestions, and I went out and got some of those, like you mentioned, the Nautilus pieces, the Life Fitness, the Cybex. So yeah, so those are pieces that the members themselves were looking for, and I went out and got them.
Cool. Was the reason you went with when you made your initial order? Was the reason you went with Arsenal over some other brands, or?
So when I initially got started training, I want to say I was TDY, and I worked with some of their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
When I used it, I was like, man, this equipment is amazing. It's nothing like I've used before. So when I started to go, in the thought process of opening my own business, I knew that Arsenal Strength was one of those companies that I really wanted to go with. So yeah.
That's cool. Now, I thought it was interesting. You've got that old school bodybuilding gym vibe in there, though. You've got some cool murals on the wall. You've got some motivational stuff on the wall, painted in that old school style. So it was cool to have some brand new equipment mixed in with like that old school vibe. Was that something you were doing on purpose?
Not necessarily. I did kind of want to have the old school feel, but also bring some new school stuff into it as well.
Hmm.
Um, especially with the arsenal, the new equipment and stuff.
Hmm.
But it's not something I was necessarily like. I need to have this hardcore bodybuilding style of gym. It just sometimes it's just when you walk in, that's what you get.
No, yeah, it definitely gives you that old school hardcore bodybuilding gym feel, but it's also friendly. Like I spoke to several of your members, like everybody was super friendly. I always credit that to some degree to the ownership and um, the activeness of the owner. Are there things you feel like you've done to create that like friendly environment in the gym?
Yeah, so I'm pretty open with all of the members. I when they walk in, if there's something that's missing, I always ask for recommendations of what they want to see in a gym. So like I had mentioned, my initial purchase, I bought X. Since we've opened, I've probably added a good 12 pieces.
Nice.
And those 12 pieces was based on recommendations of the community here.
Yeah.
So I feel like keeping them involved in the purchases that we make, it makes it feel like it's really part of their own stuff. It's theirs. Um,
Right.
you know, if we squat bars, deadlift bars, just whatever it is. Just recently we got a new member, and she was looking for a Bella bar, and I said, "What do you need it for?" And she mentioned like she'd like to do some cleans, some snatches, some overhead stuff. And I was like, okay, I'll buy one. It'll be here by the end of the week. So it's stuff like that that makes the
Yeah, that's
community
awesome.
people here. It makes it feel like this is their home.
Right. Makes them feel a part of the process and
Yeah,
like it's
exactly.
their gym rather than just some place that they go to give money to and work out.
Yeah,
No, that's awesome. That's one of the reasons I love locally owned gyms. It's that you get that feeling of owner of family, and I definitely felt that when I was there. So that's cool. That gives kind of a hats off to you for that. That was awesome. Now, now, how big is the gym now? It wasn't a huge gym,
yeah.
but
We're not that big. We're about 5,000 square feet.
okay. And are you happy with that size? Do you want to make it bigger? Like, what's the future for Legendary Fitness?
Well, I've started looking for a bigger location the day we opened this.
Okay.
Um, but just recently, I went out to look at a plot of land. Um, it's been pretty tough to look. I've been looking for locations in this area. So it may need to be that I may have to build something.
Okay.
So you know, the goal is be around that 18 to 25,000 square feet.
Oh wow.
And whether that's finding it already built or building it myself, um, that's kind of like the goal where I would like to be probably within the next year and a half to 2 years.
Yeah, 18's
Sooner rather than later.
yeah, 18's a big change from 5.
Oh yeah, it's a
So
big change, but like we are growing. Um, the space is still good for right now, but we are growing quite a bit.
that's awesome. Yeah. I can understand that. Yeah. 18's about my favorite size of gym. You get much bigger than that, and it's a little overwhelming at times.
Yeah,
It starts losing a little bit of its intimacy, but you can fit
there's
a
a lot of
lot of cool.
there's a
Okay.
lot of things that I want to do that we're not able to do in this space. Um, you know, like you've seen, we've got a very large powerlifting community here. Um,
Yeah.
so like we just aren't strictly like a bodybuilding gym. We have a large bodybuilding community here. I mean, no, I'm sorry, not bodybuilding, powerlifting community here. So the expansion that I want, there's just a lot of other things that I want to tap into that 5,000 square feet just can't give me.
Hmm.
And 18,000. I mean, 18,000. If that's what I get into, that's gonna work as well. But I don't want to get into 18,000 and wish that I would have just went to 25 from the beginning. So,
No,
uh,
I get that. Yeah.
but we'll see.
Yeah. I love the 18 to 20,000 square foot gyms. It's just it still has that intimacy, but you can fit a lot of cool shit in an 18,000 square foot gym.
Yeah.
So someone suggested I add this to the podcast. So you're going to be the guinea pig. What is it that you feel like you could be doing better that you're not doing now, as far as the gym? Like, what are you? We talked about like this is where you are and this is what you're really good at. What does you feel like you could be doing better?
Probably relinquishing some of the responsibility. I have a hard time of kind of like letting other people do things. I'm just a very hands-on person. So I do everything. Like, we're small business, but there are some stuff that I can let other people do. But like for example, I do the cleaning. I'm the owner. I train people, but I also clean the place up myself.
Yeah.
But I think for me, like there's a standard, and if you can't meet that standard as far as cleanliness, you're like I'm just gonna go ahead and do it myself. I've tried hiring an outside source to come in and clean. It just didn't meet my standards.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's a big thing here. Like cleanliness is a big deal for me here. So I want to make sure that whoever's cleaning the place is doing it to the standard that I want. And if not, I'm just going to go ahead and do it myself.
Yeah, that's that military veteran in you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we've got a lot of people that come here, whether they're bodybuilders, powerlifters, your everyday gym goer. The first thing that they talk about here is the cleanliness. Every other gym they go to in this area or that they're a part of, whether it's LA, Lifetime, or whatever other gym is out there,
Right.
the first thing they talk about here is how clean it is. And I take a lot of pride in that, man. I take a lot of pride in that. So, if a company can't come in and do it right, I'm just going to do it myself.
No, I get that. Yeah. But I can also understand where like that can get overwhelming because there's so many decisions and so many things that you have to have your hands in that are not that they're more important than cleaning the gym, but there are things that you absolutely have to handle.
Yeah, I mean, like I mentioned, I could be using my time to do other things in terms of like, all right, let me go out and go look at these properties that are a potential location to expand. But I don't do those things because I'm doing things that I should be kind of like giving to other people to do.
Right. Yeah.
It's something that I have to learn to do is just like try to, you know, ease up my plate a little bit so other people can take care of it.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah. Being a veteran myself, like I have that. Like I do a lot of things around my house that I don't want anyone else to do because I want them done the way that I want them done.
Right.
So I get that 100%. So one of the things we always ask is, you're still kind of new in the gym ownership. So a lot of the beginning struggles are probably incredibly fresh in your mind. So is there some advice or multiple pieces of advice or one piece of advice that you would give to someone who's saying, hey, Dave, I'm thinking about opening a gym. Like, do you have some advice for me?
Obviously, making sure that you know what you want to do. Like, you want your gym to have a certain identity.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever that identity is, make sure that you fulfill that. Make sure that whether the equipment is fulfilling that identity, the people are fulfilling that identity, the murals, however it looks, just make sure that whatever you want the identity of your gym to be, that you're fulfilling that in some way, shape, form, or fashion. We could talk about like the expenses. Make sure that you have enough money to build out this gym. We could talk about all of that. That's always going to be a struggle for every new gym owner. But I think the identity I was going for here, I think I captured that pretty good. And we have a great community here, man.
No, yeah, it was obviously a great community, and it was obvious like a family feel in there. The members I spoke to spoke very highly of the gym and acted like they would never go anywhere else. So that's pretty cool.
Well, Another piece of advice that I would give is be involved. Be involved in the gym, and I don't mean just like cleaning. I mean be involved within the community. Like you don't know, man. I don't know when you came into the gym. We got those 2 chairs up front.
Mm-hmm.
Those are like 2 therapy chairs. The of people that have sat in their chairs and spoke to me, and the reason why they come to me and talk to me about whether their issues, their struggles for the day, whatever it is because I walk the floor, I go out there, I talk to people on a daily basis. So I like to be involved, and I think a lot of people here appreciate that.
Oh, 100%.
And
Yeah.
it goes a long way, man. It goes a long way.
Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely. That's actually awesome advice. And you can tell the difference, like when you go into a gym and the owner's heavily involved, it's a different community than if you go into a gym and the owner, it's a business. Not that the gym shouldn't always be a business. Like you have to make money or it's going to close. But at the same time, you can tell it's a passion versus just a business.
At the end of the day, it's a business. You obviously have to make money in order to continue to purchase this equipment and upgrade and this, that. It's always going to be that, right? But it's more than just that. Okay. I enjoy talking to people. Give me a 5-hour energy and I will talk all freaking day to absolutely everyone that walks through those doors.
Nice.
But it's probably one of the better parts of my day is kind of like listening to people vent, or just kind of like be an ear. Sometimes I don't even talk. I just listen to what they have to say. And honestly, man, it goes a long way. It goes a long way.
No, 100%. Yeah, I totally get that. So that was all of my questions. Is there anything else that you would like to tell the people out there watching, like about your gym?
So obviously, veteran-owned, small business. It's a great community of people here, man. We, I hate to say this, but it's like people walk through the doors and they kind of see, like you had mentioned, they see kind of like that hardcore vibe, maybe. But we're far from that. Everyone is friendly here. You come in, it may look like no one's willing to help because you may think that it's like a hardcore gym, but it's not, man. You come in here, trust me, if you ain't got not one friend, when you come in here, you're gonna leave with a couple hundred.
Nice.
Just because it's just that type of atmosphere. And I think that people, yes, they come here because of the Arsenal equipment, they come here because of the cleanliness, but I think they also come here because of the vibe and just the community of people that we have here, man. If you look at my Instagram, I'm constantly talking about the community here because honestly, to me, that's what it's all about.
We always say that like the equipment will get them in the doors, but the atmosphere keeps them there. So
yeah.
So awesome. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. It's a great gym. We look forward to seeing what comes next for Legendary Fitness. And if you get that bigger location, make sure you let me know. I'd love to come work out there.
I will, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, man.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more great content.